You had your chance and then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from Rock Solid Studios in Granite Falls, it's time for MinneZona Sports, live with DJ Matty C. and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are back. Yes, claps all around. Episode 78. Yes, episode 78. We got a lot of things going on. Especially the zoners already, especially Amber. Woot woot, you're darn right. Yes, we are back, Amber. Absolutely, positively. I can't wait. I mean, we got a lot to unpack. So, without further ado, I'm your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Callie, a.k.a. Matty C, etc., 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 and all the way from Woods and Shores Studios in Aiken, Minnesota, Paul Voldy, Shield. What is going on, Shield?
The fact that we are in the month of September, I have a 6-month-old coming your way tomorrow. He'll be, Case Paul James Holt will be 6 months old, and we are back. Start of football season tomorrow as well. I'm just so excited about tonight's show. We got a lot we need to get on unglued from the last couple weeks. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened.
There's been a lot of stuff that's happened, Shield, and the Vikings are starting Sunday. Okay, Sunday. Yep. It's happening. This is awesome. And also, the AKAs, the Kerf Doctor. Also, he is live in studio, as well as former intern guy. We hired him back, unfortunately. But anyway, yes, AKA. Go Sports. Glad you guys are back. We are too. So, without further ado, though, we have a guest this week, and obviously we haven't had him on for a little bit, but we welcome from St. Paul, Minnesota, Mikey Ryan. Welcome back, Mikey. It's been too long, my friend. It is football season. How stoked are you? I can't wait to get in some Vikings talk. What do you got?
Super stoked to be back. Thanks for having me back. It's finally we can look forward to Sundays instead of dreading them because the week is over. Sundays are now for the next 5 months the day to look forward to.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. And yeah, I can't even remember the last time we had you on, Mikey. So, I think it was probably draft time, I think. Was it draft time?
Yep.
Yeah, so it was around draft time. So now we have you back. Now we got to make predictions. We got some news that we got to get to. So pretty much all Tater Tot hot take is Vikings. It's purple stuff we're talking. So Voldy will have some stuff. I got some stuff. Mikey, you've got plenty of stuff too. So we're pretty stoked about this. Intern guy says football is finally back. Yes, that's what we literally just said. Just FYI, that is literally what we just said if you were paying attention. Gosh darn it. You can't find good help these days. Where's my DQ Blizzard?
You can't.
No kidding. Oh, gosh. All right, well, without further ado, let's get it going with some Tater Tot. Hot take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
I just want to do a small shout out to our voice guy, Austin. He's amazing. Tater, he does great with Tater Tot Hot Take and all the other intros to the segments. So we love it. We absolutely love it. All right, guys, it's time to talk some purple. It's we got to talk about it. A couple things. For one, I believe that there was a big signing that happened, or an extension, I believe. For one, Brian O'Neill. This was a big signing, and we knew this was going to happen. We just didn't know when. We didn't know if it was before the season or after the season, but this was a key piece for the Vikings to sign. So, Mikey, what are your thoughts on the contract extension for Brian O'Neill?
I think it's a great thing to get it done, get it in place right before the season. We had to get him locked up at some point, like you said, but having him locked up now shores up the right side of the line a little bit more. The right tackle position's solid for the next, I believe it's a contract extension for 4 or 5 years. I can't remember the exact length. 5 years, thank you. So we don't have to worry about that, which is good. It's he's one of, if not the best offensive lineman that we have. So to have him locked up for as long as we do, it's good. It's good. And now we can hopefully worry about fixing the other side of the line and getting our young guys developed.
Yeah. And I think this was key. And obviously people are like, well, they never addressed the offensive line. But this is something that they can look at and say, okay, we got our right tackle solidified. Let's see what happens with Bradbury. Mm-hmm. There's mixed reactions with Bradbury, and I think he can excel a little bit too. But you still got Darrisaw, and obviously he's going to be on a rookie contract for a little bit. But then Wyatt Davis, seeing how that goes and whatnot. So we'll see what happens. But Voldy, what are your thoughts on the signing? And obviously, I think it's got our stamps of approval. This was absurd or approved. But it solidifies that right side. And we're pretty happy about it. Everyone in Minnesota is. So what do you think, Voldy?
Yeah, I think bringing and keeping Brian O'Neill around is definitely going to help solidify, like we've been talking about, that right side of the line for Kirk Cousins, and also just helping him out stability-wise with getting those right guys back in the mix too. And yeah, like we've been kind of dancing around Bradbury a little bit. You just don't know as of right now what you're going to get with him. But having Brian O'Neill there as one of the more consistent players on that line is definitely something that's going to help out not only at the right side, but also help boost that running game a little bit more too, with that familiarity and allowing for those more holes in pass protection, as well as opening up those holes for the run game too.
Well, and that, Dalvin Cook's feeling pretty good. And also, I would probably say Kirk is feeling pretty good about this as well, too. I think now that you have a guy that you can rely on, and he is damn good. Don't get me wrong. Brian O'Neill is damn good. I'm feeling good about this, too, guys. And I think the zoners would agree as well. Just kind of give us your thoughts on what you guys think with O'Neill on the right side. But it's nice to know that you have that security, but also we got to figure out what's going to happen with the rest of these guys. And like we were talking about, like I said with Bradbury, let's see what happens with Darrisaw. I think the Rashad Hill right now, I think, is going to be the guy for now until Darrisaw gets up to speed. And I think you got to go all in and say, all right, you're our first round pick. We need you to play left tackle. And then have Hill out there, because I don't trust Rashad Hill to help this team the rest of the season. This is kind of, okay, let's see how these first games go, but hopefully that the Darrisaw gets back. He was at practice and everything like that, so that helps a lot too. So I'm feeling pretty good about that as well. Stamps of approval, I think, with O'Neill signing. He's a great guy, great in the community, and he's going to be a good player for years to come here. So, anyway, guys, let's get to our let's get to some bold predictions. Don't give the record yet. But I want to hear some bold predictions for the Vikings. We're going to centralize this with the Vikings since it is purple predictions. But Mikey, let's start off with you. Whatever you got, however many bold predictions you have, we want to hear it. And then also, before we get to you two, the zoners, give us your bold predictions in the comments section. What you guys think is going to happen. Is Dalvin Cook going to go off, going to win the rushing title? Something like that. Or Justin Jefferson does even better the next season. Things like that. So you can bring that up with us. So, Mikey, give us some bold predictions, please.
I'm not going to go with Dalvin Cook or Justin Jefferson. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings defense turns itself around and we become
Let's go.
A top 3 defense. I'm going to say top 3. My initial prediction would be top 5, but if it's bold, I'm going to go top 3. Zimmer has a fire under his ass this year. He saw last year and he was just fed up with it. And I think coming out this season, he puts a huge emphasis on being a team that can win games on defense. So I think it's going to be a top 3 defense this year.
Top 3 defense. I like it. I think with the veteran presence, like you said, with Patrick Peterson, with Breland, with Mackenzie Alexander, I mean, the depth is looking nice. Now, the thing is, let's not get hurt, guys. Let's make sure that we're good to go with depth. All right, Voldy, I need another bold prediction. What do you got?
Oh, boy. I mean, Mikey kind of took mine a little bit away, but I got a couple here in store. I wanted to throw out the fact that maybe as a dark horse MVP candidate, but I think we'll just maybe back away from that one a little bit. Not only will the Vikings turn around on defense, I should say, keep things steadily improving on the offensive side, but I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to win the NFC North. I'm throwing that out there here as a bold prediction for this year. That's right. I'm putting it out there.
You're putting it out there. I like it.
Pulling no punches right now. I got nothing to lose right now.
Oh, I think our intern guy just heard that. I don't know if he's feeling good about that.
Good. I want him to hear it.
The Kerf doctor's loving it. He's in the background. He's loving it. So it's good. It's going good. Let's get to the zoners. I'll give you mine here. Yeah. Keep laughing. That's good. Hunt says D.D. Westbrook finds his old self and ends up being a huge part of the offense. Let's hope. I think D.D. Westbrook could. I think he can. I think he'd be a good, third guy with Thielen and Jefferson getting all the attention. So we'll see. And there's intern guy. Vikings will be second in the division. Well,
he's
we'll
still
see
got
about
his
that.
head in the sand right now. He doesn't even know where he's at.
They're on a little bit of a delay, so he'll hear what you say in a second.
Oh, yeah.
So. But here's another Packer fan, Matt Metzler. If the Vikings miss the playoffs, Zimmer and Spielman are gone. That's not
I don't think that's a bold prediction.
Yeah. I
It's kind of one of those things where it's spoken, but it's not spoken at the same time.
Yes, right. You're right. So, I think this is playoffs or bust. And the reason why I say that is because we've given Kirk enough time. We have the weapons. Yes, you lose Irv Smith Jr., but I think there's enough weapons on this team to be able to get to that next level. Now, Voldy, I like your bold prediction of them winning the NFC North. I think it's very possible. Now, with Green Bay, with Rodgers being back too, that puts us it doesn't put us at ease much. But I think it's very possible. If the defense comes out and they play like Mikey was saying, a top 3 defense, we can see what happens. I'm going to make a bold prediction. I'm going to make one right here. I think this is going to be good. I think, a lot of people will agree with me here too. But Dalvin Cook, the chef, our guy, Dalvin Cook, he's winning the rushing title this year, gentlemen. He is winning the rushing title this year. And the reason why I say that is, yes, we know Derrick Henry is very good too. But Dalvin has been great these past 2 seasons. Yes, there's been some injury issues and everything like that, but when he is healthy, he is literally one of the best backs in the league. I think Dalvin Cook will win the rushing title this year. That is my bold prediction. I think it's going to be interesting, but I could see the offensive line being could be mixed up a little bit too, which could happen. But if it remains consistent, if they can at least open up some lanes for Dalvin to run, they're in good shape. So Dalvin Cook's going to win the rushing title this year. I'm making a bold prediction. I'm saying it right here on MinneZona Sports Live. Let's go. So, any other bold predictions? Mikey, do you have anything else for us for a bold prediction?
I guess another bold prediction I'm going to have is Danielle Hunter is going to have a bounce-back year. He's going to get 15-plus sacks.
15 plus. I like it. Danielle, I think here's one thing I'm going to add on to that, because one thing we have to remember with Danielle is that in the offseason when he was out, this past season when he was out, this guy was working his butt off to get back, and he looks jacked. He looks absolutely yoked and ready. And they said he's ready to go, man. Mm-hmm. So I do not disagree with that. That is a stamp of approval right there. So Daniil Hunter, I agree with you, Mikey. Voldy, you got one more for us.
Well, I kind of look at this here situation. I mean, obviously the NFL and you know what? The sophomore slump is definitely a reality. That's something that could be a factor. But no, I don't think a sophomore slump is going to be in the cards here for the mix of Justin Jefferson. I think he goes out and has another career season, especially the fact that the likes of which Vikings might be hurting a little bit at the tight end position. He's going to be relied on a little bit more. 1,500 yards receiving for the likes of Justin Jefferson this season.
I like it.
JJ, baby. Mm-hmm. Let's go. And a lot of people were wondering about that, too. They said, well, you could just have one good rookie year. Well, let's not forget, and I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying from a guy that Anquan Bolden, he had a stellar rookie season, too, and he had a great career now. But I think Justin's going to be a little bit better. That's just my opinion. Don't at me, as the kids like to say. But I think that's one thing that that's one thing that'll happen with the Vikings and whatnot. So this is interesting. The intern guy agrees with me. Dalvin won the rushing title. I like that. I as Kirk would say, you like that. I like that. So.
He knows his place.
Yeah. I can't wait till he hears that. Delvin will learn how to make shredded cheese. He already has in some ways. Yeah, I mean, Delvin is definitely do that, but we love it, Curve Doctor. We absolutely love it. Is there anything? Before we get on to records and what the record will be and all that stuff. Now remember, with the records, there's one extra game, so. You got to add one, unfortunately. I don't know. We've kind of given our spiel on that. But what's one thing of concern that you have, Mikey, with the Vikings this year? And what could be the downfall? What do you think?
I'm not gonna go for the easy punching bag of the offensive line. I'm gonna go with the depth on the secondary for us. We have great talent at there, but once you get with one or two guys goes down, especially at that corner position, it gets really thin really fast, and that's what I'm worried about. Especially with a lot of the veterans in there, like your body starts wearing down. Hopefully nothing happens, and if nothing happens, we'll be great, I think. But if something does happen, and that's what you have to prepare for in football, something could happen at any moment. Someone's got to step up there, and it's like there's not a whole lot of data on that.
Right. That's something to consider. I mean, we got to see what will happen with that. But Voldy, what do you got?
I think the biggest concern, besides the fact of some things on the team, I'm looking at this schedule, and there is no easy wins on this entire schedule. I think if not the toughest schedule in the NFL, the Minnesota Vikings, that's what they're looking at. Especially, of course, I'm looking at weeks 1 through 6. You go from Cincy, Arizona, Seattle, Cleveland, Detroit, and Carolina. Then they get the bye week. After that, Baltimore, Chargers, Packers, San Fran, Detroit again. Then you go Pittsburgh, Bears, Rams. You get both LA teams in 1 year, plus the Packers and the Bears to close out the regular season for the 75th consecutive Vikings season as well. You get to play the Bears in the regular season finale. I mean, this is if the Vikings are going to be any true merit of what they are for this season, it's going to be the schedule right here that may or may not make or break them, especially after that bye week in week 7. And it's going to be a long season if things don't go right. But I'm looking at that as that's usually the first thing I look at. And it's not going to be an easy year for them with that schedule.
It won't. And obviously, we'll see what happens when the games get going. But based on what we've seen, and like you were talking about, Voldy, it's not going to be. This pun isn't intended, but it won't be easy, like Easy A would say. Matt says special teams, new long snapper, punter, and kicker. That's another thing to consider.
That's a good one.
Too. especially Skull quit being cut as well for Barry. So I guess for me, and then we'll get to the records here, but I'm worried about the blind side. And I know we talk about with a line. But it's... I really hope Darrisaw is the guy on the blind side.
Yep.
Now, Rashad Hill, I don't feel completely comfortable with if there's something lingering with Darrisaw. But I'm pretty confident that he's going to play. Now, if it doesn't turn out the way we think, and if Darrisaw's not the guy that we thought, like, if it turns into, and obviously Khalil had a Pro Bowl season when he was a rookie, and I don't want to compare him to Khalil because that's a different deal. But we cannot afford to have that type of bust on the blind side, because that set us back, a lot, I think. And it was kind of our Achilles heel for a while. We have to rely on Darrisaw. And if it's Rashad Hill, I'm concerned. Very concerned if that's the case. But I'm feeling good about Darrisaw. I think he's going to be good. He's mean. He's nasty. And hopefully he's a Pro Bowl left tackle for us. So that is something I'm considering too. And yes, I know we always talk about the O-line and whatnot, but it's the blind side that concerns me the most.
Yep.
That's all I gotta say. We're back. That's all that matters. I don't know what's going on. The sky's falling. Everything's just going to what. All right, guys, let's let the zoners get back in. Obviously, so we're live right now. But the big thing is we're talking about records and things like that. And Mikey kind of alluded to it as well. But Mikey, for the 2021 season, what is your record and how far will the Minnesota Vikings go? You're all yours.
All right. Well, I think for this season, my prediction to be optimistic is probably 11-6. We get that extra game, so we do go 11-6. Was my guess. There's going to be a lot of close games. This schedule is extremely tough, like Voldy mentioned before the blackout. But it's going to be tough. And a lot of these games could be swings. They're going to be like 3 7-point games. That's a lot of the NFL games are like that right now. So, and then how far do I think they go? I think we get a wild card spot. The Packers, they're like with Aaron Rodgers, and you know how angry it is. He's the factor for the Packers. If Aaron Rodgers does well, the Packers do well. And if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play up to the hype, or maybe he gets too pissed at the Packers and can't do anything anymore, then the Vikings could do better. But I think we get wild card. I think we get one of the top wild card spots. I don't think we're just eking in at like number 7. I think we're number 5. That would be my guess. Yeah. And I think I'm going to say we get to the divisional round, hopefully. I think we go to the divisional round, and then we probably lose to like Tampa Bay or something like that. Tampa Bay is just way too stacked this year. They're like, it's going to be at least Tampa Bay or Kansas City probably for the running for the Super Bowl again, unfortunately. But who knows? Like, it's a new season. You don't know, and I'm optimistic about the Vikings, but as a Vikings fan, you have to be cautiously optimistic at every point of every season.
No kidding. I mean, it's just how it is with being a Vikings fan. But I think, like you said, there's enough talent on this team for them to do some damage, and I think they will as well. So, Voldy, what do you got for us?
Well, I already put out my bold prediction of them winning the NFC North. So what it's going to have to be for them, they're going to have to be 13-4 this year.
Whoa!
13-4.
Oh, I like it.
Again, like Mikey brought up, a lot of them are going to be real close, one-score games. But I think, if anything, the Vikings have the right playmakers to maybe win some of those close games and maybe sneak out a couple last-second finishes. Defense is definitely improved in that respect as well, where they're not going to put up 30, 40 points a game to lose by, 2 scores or whatever. There's definitely going to be a lot of bounce back with that too. So 13-4 is where we're sitting at.
13-4.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm just throwing it out there again.
Yeah.
I got nothing to lose here.
No,
I
you
like
got
it.
nothing to lose. You got nothing
It's
to lose.
bold.
It's a bold prediction. You know, I've been going back and forth. You know, I like the 13-4. I like you going out on a limb, Voldy. I'm gonna go 11-6. 11-6. Now, the reason why I say 11-6 is because I believe that this team is going to compete with Green Bay here. Now, I'm not going to say that they're going to win I don't want to go that far yet because I think there's a lot to prove here, especially when we have the Bears as well, which, you know, but I think that it's going to take a little bit before they get to where they need to go. Obviously, with Justin Fields and what they're going to do with Dalton and all that stuff. So, I think what I'm going to go with, gentlemen, is I'm going to go 11-6. I think they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs. They are going to go on a deep run, I think. They're going to get to the divisional matchup, and you're on your own after that. That's all I got to say. Nope. I'm not going to go say they're going to win in the divisional round. They're saying they're going to – I said you're on your own after that. I think if they get to the divisional round, I think it's going to save Zimmer. It's going to save not only Zim, but Spielman's job as well. So I'm going to go with that. But we say fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Shimbo says 10-7. 10-7. So we got that. I could, you know, I think that's bold. That's another bold prediction that we got there too. So stamps of approval all around. Let's hope that it becomes. Let's hope our bold predictions are true. I really do hope that that's the case. So we got it marked in part 1. So we'll make sure that we get those recordings and whatnot. But anything else you wanted to throw in, Mikey, before we let you go?
No, hopefully the Viking season is good. You know, we're always cursed. There's always going to be something going on. But no, let's hope for a good season. Let's hope everyone stays healthy and hopefully no COVID outbreaks or anything like that. You know, especially with how infamous the Vikings have become at this point with like the word COVID and the vaccine and everything like that. But I'm hoping every bold prediction's right. 13-4, I'd be totally happy with that record, Voldy.
Hey, well, let's go. Let's go.
And I got 0% confidence in myself that any of these predictions are going to be coming true this year. So if anything, we're kind of playing with fire right now.
Yeah, I like it.
Here's before we move on with that, because sometimes these predictions go well, but actually even before that, Curve Doctor says 11-6. He's copying me. There's that. But I like it. Trev says 10-7. Trev says 10-7. He's with Shimbo on this one. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think it's definitely doable. But if these predictions don't come into fruition, somebody's getting the dustpan. Somebody's getting the dustpan like myself. The dustpan has finally arrived, the 2020 version. And we'll make some updates to this, but it looks fantastic. Voldy, thank you. As always. And we will... I'll have it for a little bit, but Austin Hanley, I think that one's coming to you soon, my friend. So that's
either him or your internet service provider at this point.
Nah, that's good. That's true. That should be on our infamous list, Mikey. That's what should happen. That's what should happen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, Mikey, we thank you for coming on. I know with the internet and everything, but we appreciate you sticking with us and talking some purple. And we got a whole lot of show left to go. So, Skull Vikes, and hey, we'll be talking. So we'll go from there, sir.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys. Skull Vikes.
Yeah, Skull Vikes, baby.
Hey,
we'll catch you later, sir.
See ya.
Now, Voldy, I know it took us a second to get to virtues, but we're back. We're ready to go with some Voldy's virtues. So let's get it going. Let's go to the Temple of Wisdom because, as the Curve Factor likes to say, why the heck not?
He has emerged from the Temple of Wisdom. Gather round for Voldy's virtues.
All right, it is time for Voldy's Virtues. We are going to the Temple of Wisdom. We are ready to go. And Voldy, why don't you enlighten us?
Well, there's one thing that I've been kind of secretly outspoken about, so much so to the point that I don't even know if we've even done this for Voldy's Virtues. I feel like I've done it for like the 3 or 4 last few times we've done it. But again, I have no idea. So I'm just going to throw this out here. We're talking about Major League Baseball. We've talked about the Astros cheating scandal. We've talked about the fact that, a lot of things relating to that as well. Stealing signs, but pitchers and the enforcement rule as well for foreign substances. There's just one thing that just continues to bug me. Why is it the fact that pitchers need to find a way to doctor the baseball in order to even throw it remotely better than where they were? So you're telling me that Major League Baseball pitchers, the cream of the crop, the best in the world, have to cheat in order to do their job? Just think about that for a second. So does that mean they're not very good in the first place? Let me just touch on this here just a little bit. It all comes down to numbers, unfortunately. It's the way of the world nowadays. We're talking spin rates. We're talking, beyond the fact of location and, miles per hour. We're talking spin rates. We're talking RPMs. We're talking things along that sort. Is this baseball or is this an auto shop? Why do we need to evaluate such things like this? If a pitcher can throw strikes, fill the strike zone, and get guys out, why do they need such problems when it comes to foreign substances? Obviously, the big enforcement in the last few months has not really deterred a whole lot of people when it comes to using foreign substances in the game of Major League Baseball as well. Looking here at some of the rates as well when it comes to foreign substances, they're not really helping out all that much when it comes to the pitching side of things. And in fact, in an independent study that happened 2 years ago, 2019, before COVID hit everything, there's not really much helping Major League Baseball pitchers nowadays because of the fact that, hitters are going to hit the ball out of the yard. It's not that much different. Major League Baseball saw a season that a record of 2019, that was actually set in 2017, my bad, 6,776 home runs were hit with an 11% increase over the previous record, which was set in 2017, so that over 6,700 home runs was hit in 2019. So doctoring the baseball and all that other stuff before then, not really helping them all that much as well. You're seeing guys throwing 100, 102 miles per hour with relative ease nowadays. You're seeing guys throwing 80, 85, even up to 90 mile per hour changeups and curveballs, things of that sort. You're seeing guys throwing at 12 to 6, 8 to 2, 9 to 5, X to Z curveballs all over the plate and getting it strikes as well. But what is it about this that you have to put some sort of foreign substance on it in order to do your job right? Isn't that what you're getting paid for, is to throw this thing correctly? Yeah. And one person that's been fairly outspoken about this, it's been Garrett Cole. Now, Garrett Cole, since joining his hometown New York Yankees, not exactly all that much. He did get off to a bit of a pretty decent start. He had 11 starts in April and May. The Yankees had 97 strikeouts, 70 and 2/3 innings, 1.78 ERA. Okay, in the following 6 starts, in all of his 6 appearances, 5.24 earned run average, 38 strikeouts, and 34 1/3 innings. Something that's not really good. Garrett Cole, Trevor Bauer before he got put on the list as well, Dylan Bundy from the Angels. Those guys have been the most outspoken about the effective use of the likes of foreign substances on baseballs, and it's just not exactly going the right way for them to see any success. Of course, there are the checks on the regular with umpires and also pitchers, pretty much between innings as well. Seeing it kind of boil over a few times too, with maybe some managers, players going after it. You're seeing guys dropping trowel in the middle between innings. You see them throwing their hat and glove at umpires, just basically saying, "Look, there's nothing on there. I don't know what you want from me." It's not helping Major League Baseball. It's not helping the pitchers as well. If the enforcement has to continue to weed out all the crap pitchers in the first place to get these guys back into the minors as well, or even see some of these guys that are literally doing everything that they can the right way without having to doctor the baseball to even build up the chance to even sniff the major leagues, let alone get some of these guys that are out here for, 10, 12 years if they're lucky, putting up all these ungodly numbers as well. Something's got to give. And, where I kind of stand on this with the whole foreign substance and enforcement for Major League Baseball, you got to continue to do it, because obviously there was a time as well, the whole steroid era with baseball and for the hitters as well. Look, that's the whole Major League Baseball dug itself,
Sure.
And now they're having to deal with the repercussions of it as well with some of these guys that are, are they Hall of Fame worthy as well? Because I often say it as well. It's physically impossible to play the game of baseball. The saying goes, if you blink, you miss it. Literally, it's not even a fraction of a second from the time the ball leaves the pitcher's hand of a fastball to even think about hitting it. A guy hits 763 home runs. That means he got lucky 763 times. Barry Bonds deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. So does Mark McGwire. So does Sammy Sosa. So does Roger Clemens. I'm going to go out there and say that every single time. It's not their fault. Major League Baseball's fault. And they were just trying to keep up with the times on it as well. So getting back to the point as well.
Sure.
Foreign substances and Major League pitchers. If you're not that good, you shouldn't be pitching in the major leagues if you have to cheat in order to play as well. And if people want to call me out on the whole Astros cheating scandal, saying that that I agreed with the Astros and their tactics, a little outlandish at times, but look, the way of the world in 2020 and 2021, saying using technology to steal signs, that's just a fact of life right there.
Yeah.
But if you're not that good to throw a curveball, not that good to throw a slider, 4-seam, 2-seam, split finger, knuckle, change, and everything in between, you don't deserve to be in Major League Baseball in the first place. There's 35 guys underneath you that will literally play for just the ability to be in the dugout in the first place. And I think overall, look, stop doing it. It's not working for you, because guys are still going to get hitting 450-foot home runs if you leave it over the plate. So, obviously, enforcement's got to continue, and you got to give these pitchers a bit of a reality check.
Agreed. I just think, with a lot of this, sometimes you got to know when to let it be and just forget it and go move on from it. And I think that's it's kind of proponent of people saying, well, you're technically, cheating and everything like that and X, Y, and Z. But let's be honest, it's all about how the guys play well. Even if they don't use it, fine, But if the numbers are getting higher because they're using this type of stuff, then yeah, maybe, But I don't know. Just like you said, weed out the crap, and get the guys that have been in the minors for years their time, while Garrett Cole and others need a reality check. I like the way you put that,
Yep.
Voldy. So it's perfect. So I don't know. We'll see. MLB doing their same old shtick. So there's that as well. But anyway, great job as always with Voldy's virtues. It was great. The Temple of Knowledge was enlightening. We love it. We absolutely love it. So anyway, let's move on to ARA. Voldy. These are very good. And there is one that was very controversial on the Facebooks. Yes. Very controversial. And we want to get to that. So let's get it going with some observed or approved.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
All right, it's time for Absurd or Approved. So, Voldy, why don't you rattle them off for us, please?
Well, it was a bit of an up and down Labor Day weekend for the state of Minnesota, and all started off, unfortunately, the Golden Gopher football team losing to Ohio State in a 2-score loss. But you know what? It was certainly quite the contest. They did have a lead at halftime, but ultimately losing 45-31. And, midway through that second half, unfortunately, the Gophers did lose star running back Mo Ibrahim in that contest, and was confirmed earlier this week that Ibrahim did suffer a a lower leg injury, knee injury that has forced him to go into surgery. Yesterday went into surgery as well. 163 rushing yards in that contest and a loss against a top 5 team in the country as well. Looking at it overall with this Gopher team, I know Ibrahim was going to be the stud. Of course, the returning Big Ten running back of the year from last season. Tanner Morgan still at the quarterback position, but looking at the big picture overall, is it absurd or approved? The Golden Gopher football team will finish below 500 without Mo Ibrahim for the rest of the season.
Ooh, that's a great question. Well, first of all, let me put it this way. Mo Ibrahim, what a hell of a player for the Golden Gophers. He has been an absolute stud all his years with the Gophers. Now, this was his 6th year of eligibility. And that's what sucks about it. And I saw the injury, and they believe it was a torn Achilles or some deal with it. And I saw it, and it looked rough. I mean, absolutely rough. Now, I look at it, and I think, okay, it definitely hurts, but I know that there are some veterans on this team too. And yes, you got some junior sophomores. You still got Tanner Morgan. He didn't have a terrible game. Yes, he had some missed throws and whatnot, but he's not that type of guy. I think he's very very talented. The thing is I think there are times where he misses throws, but Mo Ibrahim, I think is a key part for the Golden Gophers. But I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say absurd. I think they will be either at 500 or a little bit above 500. I think there's one person that told me too as well. Well, here comes a 6-6 Music City Bowl season for the Gophers. He wasn't wrong, and the thing is I didn't necessarily disagree with him, but I think they'll probably hit the. I think they're going to be over 500, and I think Fleck is coaching for almost his job for a little bit here. I mean, he's got to hit this year. I'm not saying that it's. I won't say it like after this. If they win only like 1 or 2, 3 games, then I'd be really concerned. But I don't think he's quite on the hot seat right now, which I don't think that would be the case, and I think he's a good coach too. So I'm in the realm of I like Fleck, but I'm gonna say it's absurd. I think they'll be a little bit over 500 this year. I got faith in the Gophers. So Voldy, what do you think?
I look at the whole situation too. One big thing that's going to help the Gophers this year, that offensive line that they have. Yes. I mean, they've got just returning guys left and right. Blaze Andrews, Marshall High School kid. I remember talking to him in his recruiting process when he was a senior at Marshall High School. He's still there too. I think that's going to be a benefit in providing a little bit more stability for Tanner Morgan and the offense too. And we're going to see some of these young guys step up for the Gophers too. I honestly say if they do finish below 500, I don't think Fleck's going to be coaching for his job. I think last season, we all know what last season was for college football. I want to say everybody's got at least a 1 year, just like a buffer year, if you will, because if it don't hit this season, maybe if, we'll give you the 1 year and then next season, things don't start turning around, you're done for as well. If they finish below 500, I'm looking at a 6-6 year for them as well. I say it's absurd as well. I don't think they finish below 500.
I think it would suck, but at the same time, I do believe in this team. I think they have enough talent to be over 500. So I don't know, even without Mo, but it sucks, man. He was really playing well too. So. It sucks, but oh well. I guess we got to move on and go on with the season. All right, Voldy, it's time. Let's get to our controversial ARA. So why don't you rattle this one off for us?
Not too often we get to talk about uniforms for teams being controversial as well, unless they have some sort of vulgar imagery that goes along with it. So the Minnesota Wild at the Minnesota State Fair over the weekend for Labor Day did unveil their 2022 Winter Classic jersey. And let's just say it drew a lot of ire from the vast majority of the crowd. And that did include, a good amount of our followers on the old Facebook page. Now, taking a look here at the uniform as well, it does invoke a little bit of a imagery that takes it way back, celebrating the history of hockey in the state of Minnesota, especially professionally as well. Has the MPLS over the top, St. Paul across the bottom, Minnesota, the state of Minnesota right there in the middle as well. And it does have the off-colored breezers and gloves as well to signify with the elbow padding as well. Big fan of that as well. Initial shock value did send people in a bit of a stir, but the more I look at it, I am kind of feeling it a little bit.
Okay.
Is it absurd or approved? Did the Wild do everything right with their Winter Classic jerseys for 2022?
Well, I mean, I would say, at first I was looking at some of the comments, and here's the thing: we should read some of these comments because they're actually pretty funny. One being our good friend Daniel Halverson. He's very active on the socials medias as well, and he gave his thoughts, and I thought it was one of the best reactions. But as I'm bringing it up here, so let's read some of these because there's 11 comments. Okay, so. Tammy Morrison has the throw up emoji, so there's that going. Robert Schuster says, "Sorry, when you fired Parisi and Suter, I'm done, and the jerseys suck." There's that. Carl says, "I wish I had more hands so I could give them jerseys 4 thumbs down." Joe Clements, our guy, swing and a miss, he says. And Josh...
says the guy who's going to be going to the Winter Classic. Joe.
Oh, wow, he is going, yeah. And Josh says he agrees. Mark Schuster says the Candyman can. Okay. And then Petty Daniel Halverson, butt cheeks, LOL. That means that it sucks, obviously, but I think that's hilarious.
All the kids got that comment,
there was one person that did like it. And that was Mr. Ethan Flatten, our guy Ethan. I like it, very vintage look. Could have done without the upper chest stripe and maybe one of the arm stripes. So he got a lot of there were a lot of reaction to it. I'm not a huge fan of it. I will say I'm not a huge fan of it, but I think it's not as bad as people are making it out to be. Mm-hmm. I think it goes back in its history and whatnot. I think the makeup of it is like, oh, it's the worst thing I've ever seen. I've seen some pretty bad ones. I mean, have you seen those terrible Green Bay Packer, Acme Packer ones? I mean, those look terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely bad. But these, I'm not as bothered by. I mean, I'm not going to give it a full stamp of approval, but I think it's a safe bet. That's how I would put it as. I don't think it's completely, and I don't want to disagree with my guy Dan, but I wouldn't say it's butt cheeks. I would just say it's safe. That's all I would put. Jane Bow says, "I don't like the chest stripe." So there are some people. I mean, there's certain aspects of it that people don't like, but yeah, I agree. I'm totally with you. Not absurd, but hard to say approved. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Jane. That's what I'm saying. So I guess, I mean, I can't really say absurd or approved. That's the tough thing. So I'm kind of smack dab in the middle. It's safe. So if I were to pick, I'd probably just say approved. So, Voldy, what do you got?
Initial shock value, I was kind of with everybody. It's like, what's going on here? Sensory overload is kind of what I attributed it to, just because of the fact everything's going on. It's all over the place right now. But the more I sat down and looked at it over the weekend, it's like, oh, this is kind of a hot look for a team that's got really no history, no real skin in the game, coming off, 20 seasons in the NHL. And you're calling it way back when, teams were playing outdoors basically as well in Minnesota. But, I do like some of the features. I do like the gloves and the breezers, that off-faded brown a little bit. That's a callback to some of the old vintage teams. The elbow stitching as well. That's also a nice little feature too. I can understand where people are coming from with the striping, because some of the associated pictures that go along with the vintage look for some of those Minnesota hockey teams, a lot of striping on there. And again, another little bit of sensory overload. I think they definitely did what they could, considering the fact that the Wild really have no history, and you're going up against a team in the Blues that's got about another 40 years on them as well for history. So they're going to be unveiling theirs, actually, I think coming up on Friday, I think, for the Winter Classic too. So that's definitely something to be looking out for. It's got my stamp of approval. I'm just trying to figure out maybe which player I'm going to get for that Winter Classic jersey once we come rolling around for that.
Well, the funny thing is you're not the only one, Voldy. Shimbo is also going to be looking for one, apparently, according to Jane. But yeah, that's a great question. I mean, but that jersey you got on right there looking pretty sharp. I'm not going to lie. Kaprizov. Thanks to Hunts for the jerseys as well. I'm going to unveil mine, I think, next week. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. So, but anyway, yeah, we'll give it our stamps of approval. I'm not as like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever, but it's safe. That's all I would put it at. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, this was something that kind of came up last week that I definitely wanted to get to mention as well, because this is one of those, we're trying to make baseball fun again, and the New York Mets are taking it in their own way in true New York fashion as well. Javi Baez, who did join the New York Mets at the baseball trading deadline, along with, a good buddy of his in Francisco Lindor, have kind of, embraced the fact that hate me to like you, basically, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The whole he hate me kind of mantra here in the late stage of the season, trying to make that playoff push. And basically what they're doing is every time they get on base, every time they get a base hit, they're going thumbs down right to the crowd as a little bit of a sleight of hand, if you will, to some of those fans that continue to boo the Mets players on the field. And Javi Baez was quite forward with the media and also the fans as well. And he said, we're not machines. We're going to struggle 7 times out of 10. It just feels bad when I strike out and get booed. It doesn't really get to me, but I want to let them know that when we're successful, that we're going to do the same thing to them to let it know how it feels. So basically a little bit of giving them, a little bit of reading between the lines there as a way to show their appreciation for the unappreciation from the fans as well. Of course, the Mets haven't really been all that good. 9-20 since, they've dropped from first place in the NL East down to third. And you know what? They're trying to make that playoff push here and at least try to smell a little bit of a wild card position. But is it absurd or approved? Mets players doing the thumbs down gesture to Mets fans, even as they're trying to get them on their side here for this little late season push for the wild card.
Yeah, this is another controversial thing. I think we like getting those controversies here on ARA. I love it. I can see both sides. I can see both sides from the fact of, if I strike out, but we're going to throw it right back at the fans here. Now, New York is an unforgiving place. And I think we all know that. It doesn't matter if you're a Mets or Yankees fan. There's still going to be those clowns that will come at you. But I feel like in this situation, it's one of those things where these players are trying to make a statement and say, hey, look, we're not, like you said, we're not your machines and everything like that. But in order to send the message across right is to play better, right? I mean, isn't it that they're supposed to, they're being paid to, play, baseball. They're living their dream and whatnot. And yes, they're going to have some hard times. And yes, the fans might be against you, but that's a part of the game. I mean, if I saw the Pohlads walking by, I'd boo the hell out of them. I mean, I can tell you that much. But I can see both sides. I can see them wanting to make a statement and, the fans, but you might lose fans too. I mean, that's kind of the big thing too, is like, guys putting thumbs down to the fans when they do something. They're trying to get them back on the other side. and whatnot. But I just think there's a better way of doing this than besides, putting thumbs down to the fans and whatnot. But it could be worse, and it could be 10 times worse for these guys too. But I look at this and I say, listen, guys, play better. That's how I look at it. And if they can't, then they'll keep booing you, and maybe they'll get tired of it. I don't know. We'll see. But Jane says, thumbs down, middle finger sends a more direct message. It would be a direct message. That would be smack dab right there. So I'm gonna say it's absurd just because there's a better way at handling it. There's a better way to shutting the fans up, and I don't think that was the way to do it. So just my opinion. Voldy, what do you think?
Look, this has got my big time stamp of approval on this. I absolutely love it. Look, Mets fans are always going to be there. They're the most ignorant, loyal group of fans out there in Major League Baseball. And this is coming from a guy who's a Red Sox fan too. Look, they're always going to be around. Especially if the team's doing bad, they're going to stick around. The team's doing good, there's no reason to stop them from coming to the ballpark. And if it's one of those where it's one of those love-hate relationships like it always is, nothing's going to change with that. And I just love seeing the fact that the Mets are actually responding to the criticism and throwing it right back at them. Yeah, we know we stink, but when we start doing good, you guys aren't allowed to cheer for us because you guys were booing us when we were, 10 games under 500 for all this time as well. So I love it. I'm a big fan of it. Players kind of finding creative ways without basically shouting out at, to fans, directly or whatever. They're doing a little bit of that, a little backhanded compliments and things of that sort. So it's one of those where it's spoken of, but it's not directly spoken of. It's got my stamp of approval.
Yeah, if it's going to change the game, if it's going to change the game and everything, I don't like it just from the fact of these guys coming at fans and whatnot. But again, yes, Mets fans, it's that simple.
They'll
these
be
guys,
fine.
Yeah,
they'll be
fine. So, and I think they apologized and whatnot. Yeah, they apologized and whatnot, but
only because the owner told them to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't know, what would the Poleats do in this situation? That'd be my question.
They would have traded them in a heartbeat. So,
or released
there
them. Doesn't matter who it was. They'd just release them. But yeah, good. We got to be different on some things here. So, next one, Voldy.
Well, a semi-surprising move last week, final week of cut down for the NFL. England Patriots have made their feelings pretty known who's going to be the starting quarterback here for the start of the season. Cam Newton, gone. Enter into the picture, Mac Jones, the rookie out of the first round for the New England Patriots, will be starting week 1 for the New England Patriots as well. Out Cam Newton, inserting Mac's daddies for the start of the 2021 NFL season. And a very surprising move, but apparently Belichick and crew think that he's progressing at a level that far exceeds what they had at the start of the year. And Mac Jones has gained their confidence and let go of Cam Newton as well. So will it be absurd or approved? Mac Jones will have a better record this season than Cam Newton did in his one season with New England Patriots.
I think it's got my stamp of approval. The reason why it's got my stamp of approval is I don't want to say that Cam doesn't have it anymore, but he's definitely lost a step, I think. And yes, I understand with the weapons that they have and whatnot. Well, let's remember, Bill Belichick knows what's going on. And from what I've been hearing, and Voldy, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but Mac Jones has been tearing it up in training camp, or this training camp and preseason. He's done really well. I think Belichick made this move to say, listen, this is our guy, okay? And he's ready to go, and he's been ready, he's been ready ever since training camp and since he stepped into the building. So, yeah, I think he's going to have a better record than Cam. Now, not to say that Cam won't be – I think Cam's going to find a team. It's just Cam has to understand that he's lost a step in some things, and that he has to adjust to that a little bit. Now, his accuracy's been a little off, and yes, he's still a big guy, but he takes a lot of hits too. Let's not forget that. He's sustained some injuries now. But it was a shock, don't get me wrong. I still think it was, even though with Mac Jones playing so well, but Mac Jones, like a lot of the Vikings were like, "Whoa, you got to take Mac Jones. You got to take Mac Jones." Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with Mac Jones. Well, with the weapons that they have, defensively, I think they're going to be sound and whatnot too. So, if I'm New England, I'm feeling pretty good with Mac Jones right about now. So, if I'm wrong, Voldy, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. And then that dustpan right there, that's going to be staying up there. Who knows? We'll see. But it's got my stamp of approval. I think the Mac Daddy's going to be throwing some dimes. So that's just my opinion. We'll see. Voldy, what do you got?
Cam Newton was 5-11 with the Patriots last season. That had no reason being anywhere near a 5-11 record. If getting his reps in, he's looked very good in the preseason for the New England Patriots, and the fact that he's been able to progress at such a quick level with another quarterback coming out of Alabama, 3 starting quarterbacks in the NFL coming out of the same quarterback room for the Alabama Crimson Tide. I mean, that is as good as it gets there. And under another former Belichick disciple, Nick Saban, he was an assistant for Bill Belichick many moons ago as well. But I see this as a winning situation. I think Mac Jones, we thought maybe it was going to be Jarrett Stidham studs for the Patriots, but it's not going to be there, it looks like right now, because he's on the PUP list right now, but maybe becoming available towards the later half of the season. Still got Hoyer's heroes in the fold. Brian Hoyer, the backup right now, so there is that experience of knowing how to play in the system the way that Josh McDaniels runs the offense as well, so he's got that to lean on. I think it will definitely get my stamp of approval for Mac Jones to have a much better record for the Patriots this season. I don't know if quite exactly they're going to be ready to compete in the AFC East quite yet, because of the fact that Buffalo, Miami looking much better. Who knows what the Jets are going to bring this season with Zach Wilson too. So it's going to be very interesting. It's definitely Buffalo's division to lose this season too, but definitely better than 5-11 this season for the Patriots and Mac Jones.
You know what's interesting about the division? You mentioned the division, Voldy. All the ages of the AFC East quarterbacks. Josh Allen, he's only 25. Tua, 23. Zach Wilson, 22. Mac Jones, 22. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's all about the young guys. Intern guy says he's still around here. He still hasn't gotten me my DQ, but hopefully he can get that here soon. He says 8-9 with Mac. What do you think, Voldy?
That's a respectable
I think that's
start.
Respectable too.
I'd like to see him go over 500, but you know what? We'll see. I think 8-9 is very respectable.
We'll start with that, right? We'll start with that. All right, last one, Voldy.
Well, this one's just completely out of left field, and this is something we're looking forward to the documentary coming out here very soon. Bishop Sycamore High School. Well, if you want to even call them a high school, out of Ohio is an institution that claimed to be a football powerhouse, despite the fact that they don't have a physical location. They don't have any football games scheduled against powerhouses against the country, yet they were able to get an ESPN National Game of the Week against the number 2 team in the country, against IMG Academy, and they got stomped. 58-0 in the middle of the afternoon. I remember, flipping channels and checking out this game. It's like, ooh, this is an ugly one. Turns out Bishop Sycamore isn't even a real school. It's a charter school that they say that's based out of Columbus, Ohio. Of course, big football powerhouse. But they don't have a school website. School website doesn't even have information about it as well. And the fact that they're able to get on ESPN, basically lie their way into getting this game of the week as well, saying that they had, we got kids with multiple D1 offers. We've got kids that are coming up as well. And it looks like that was all bunk and was actually the fact of saying that they didn't truly exist as well. We've learned recently as well the head coach for Bishop Sycamore has actually stepped down as head coach for the football team. And there's just a lot of things that have gone on since this game and the 58-0 loss to IMG Academy. Absurd or approved, will Bishop Sycamore receive big punishment for their swindling of their national TV game against IMG Academy?
Oh, they should. I really think they should. I mean, even the commentators are like, "What the hell are these guys doing?"
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like, it's laughable, but these teams are just. I mean, this team's just so dysfunctional, and like, people are like, "How did ESPN even they passed all the thing?" They scammed you. I mean, I don't care if people think, they didn't scam us. No, they scammed you. They scammed you big time. And some of these highlights that I saw on the socials, on mostly Twitter, I should say. I mean, there's these guys that are obviously not, in high school or anything like that. They don't even go to classes. They just randomly play football. And they probably even scam some of these other kids too. I mean, it's absurd how this all, worked out. And the administrator, there's an administrator, this Andre Patterson, who played for Jim Tressel at Youngstown State in the 1980s. He was the founder, director, and currently coaches the football team's offensive and defensive lines. You coach both the offense and the defensive line? Like, what?
That's weird.
And denied any inkling of a scam related to Sunday's game, Bishop Sycamore. I mean, honestly, I was hoping IMG would just put up like 100 points on these guys. It's. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous, and I would look at this situation. I'd penalize them big time, and ESPN. I don't think they did their due diligence on this damn thing either. With all due respect, because how can you say, they checked every box? No, they really didn't.
Yeah, they just told you what you wanted to hear.
Yeah. The stamp of approval, they're going to receive big-time punishment. I just eradicate the whole program. Just absolutely eradicate it. So, Voldy, what do you think?
I mean, it always comes back to this. How did it get so far to the point from initial conversation, the game actually taking place, all the people that probably had to do some sort of research or basically look at it like, yeah, this isn't a real place. That they don't even have a website or anything. No. Like, what's going on here? Like, wait, is that your starting quarterback? He's like 19 years old. How is he still in high school, if you will? And the fact that it got this far, it's completely absurd to the point where that, I feel bad for IMG Academy, honestly. Sure. You're not going to get a true evaluation of your players here, even though they're, some of the best players in the country as well. And that's why they're going to IMG Academy, number 2 team ranked in the nation as well. So, I mean, it's not going to hurt them in the grand scheme of everything, but, seeing them on national television going up against a team that's has no business being on the same field and putting up a 58-0 romping of Bishop Sycamore. I mean, it's completely absurd. As for the punishment, big time punishment coming their way as well. I don't know what you can really do, honestly. I mean, the head coach has already stepped down, so, if anything, I don't know what kind of sanctions you can use as well. Punishment against, it's a charter school, so, I mean, I don't know what else you can really do about it, but, I mean,
I don't know.
It's just interesting to see how it got that far to the point where they were playing on national TV, so.
I think there's a lot of parties that need to be involved with this too and figure out what the hell happened. I mean, it just can't happen again. Bishop Sycamore. I mean, that's what we'll start calling it, it's like, for MinneZona being like, hey, Voldy, you want to start up a MinneZona football team or something like that, and then have them,
Probably.
I mean, we could. I mean, if we wanted to do something like that, I don't know, but I wouldn't handle it like they did. So that's how we would put it. All right, great job with Absurd or Approved, Voldy. Now it's time for some Shield shoutouts. But after your Shield shoutouts, Voldy, we didn't get to this because internet is a piece of... I'm just going to start with that. But you have a bold prediction. But it's not for the Vikings. It's actually for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So give your Shield shout-outs, and then I want your bold predictions. So we will do that for the Zoners. And we appreciate all the Zoners sticking with us throughout this whole issues and whatnot. Someday we'll figure this out. But anyway, let's get it going. What's up? Shout-outs.
Shield Shoutouts.
All right, Shield, who you shouting out tonight?
Well, a couple of people that did get their first coaching wins this past week. We definitely need to send some big Shield shout-outs. Congrats to an old friend from Hayfield High School and her first start as a head volleyball coach, Joanna Kruger, formerly Joanna Bungham, on winning her first volleyball match as head coach for the Hayfield Vikings, fresh off the honeymoon and right back into the gymnasium. Wouldn't expect anything less from her as well. So congrats to Joanna on her first coaching victory as head coach. Picked up a couple more wins already as well. The Hayfield Viking volleyball team definitely looking a little more promising here this season. So best of luck to her and the Vikings throughout the year. A couple former NFL players did pick up their first wins as high school head football coaches, including former NFL quarterback Phillip Rivers did pick up his first win, and a former NFL wide receiver, Jeremy Macklin. The Mac Attack did notch his first win at his alma mater in Kirkwood, Missouri. First high school football wins as head coaches. Congrats to both those gentlemen as well. A big congratulations has to go out to all the great folks from the NHL and the IOC for finally coming to an agreement to let NHL players participate in the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. That's coming up here in like 5 months, believe it or not. Believe it or not, we'll get a nice little double dose of Olympic action as well. So the NHL has already got that hopefully built into the schedule. They're going to pick the one that's got the Olympic break in it to get this year started off right.
Yeah.
Because NHL players are going to be playing in the Winter Olympics this year as well. So congrats to all those folks that made that happen. We did have to say goodbye on the playing field to former NFL cornerback, shutdown cornerback, and Super Bowl 49 hero Malcolm Butler, who caught the interception of Russell Wilson at the goal line to seal the lead and ultimately the victory. The biggest play in Super Bowl history. Malcolm Butler announced earlier this week that he is hanging them up as well. And, you know, there's been a little conversation as well. The reasoning why he got basically benched in Super Bowl 52 it was in U.S. Bank Stadium. And you know what? There are some conflicting reports all around. Who knows what ultimately may lead to that. That's probably going to be a Belichick question if and when he ever decides to retire. And unfortunately as well for the Patriots, they did lose a valued member of the family as well this past week. That former Patriot wide receiver David Patton did pass away in a car accident this week as well. Was an instrumental piece in the early goings of the dynasty when some kid Tom Brady came in and led them to some Super Bowls in the early 2000s as well. David Patton did pass away this past week as well, and we do send our condolences and thoughts and prayers to the Patton family here and the Patriots organization as well here at this time. That's going to do it for Shield Shoutouts this week.
As always, great Shield shout-outs.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, you bet. And the main thing is the all the stuff that's going on, and especially with Mac Attack, our guy, Mac Attack getting his first win. Phillip Rivers, who would have thunk? No, yeah, he knows what he's doing, definitely. Malcolm Butler, like you mentioned, yeah, that Super Bowl 52. I remember that. Bench is like, wait, what happened? What's going on here?
Would have made a difference. They would have won that one. Tom Brady would have rode off into the sunset.
That could be a good E60 mini doc type of thing on what went behind that decision. So there's that as well. All right, Voldy, you have a bold prediction, and I have a feeling it's reminiscent to what prediction you made the previous year as well. So you have the floor, my friend.
Well, it was at this point at the beginning of last season for the NFL season, I did go out saying that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were not only going to win the South, not only were going to make a deep run, make it to the Super Bowl. I didn't say that they were going to win, but they were going to have a substantial run in the postseason. And I'm here to report here as well. I've got all my chips pushed in. I'm going all in. If you tuned in earlier, you heard my bold predictions for the Vikings this year, winning the NFC North. JJ going for 1,500 yards.
Yeah.
Just throwing myself onto the fire and baby burn. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, after regaining all 22 starters offensively, defensively this past season as well, getting stronger through the draft as well, will finish with a 16-1 record. NFC South champions. First round bye, home field advantage all through the playoffs. NFC champions as well, repeating as Super Bowl champions this season as well. I look directly into the soul of the Zoners and making this a prediction for the start of the season as well. That is my bold prediction for the NFL season. It all starts tomorrow night with a shellacking of America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, on Thursday Night Football.
You're going all in. You're pushing your chips.
I don't even care anymore at this point because
yeah. You
Yeah,
are really
I'm
going
going
all
all
in. Yeah, hey, you know what?
And if I'm wrong, that's only going to bring in the people to listen, and they're going to point it all out. Hey, bring that golden dustpan right back. I got to get another little touch up on the paint anyway. I still got a good half a can of spray paint on that thing to finish up too.
Looks good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out the best way to do or put the mural on like absurd statement and then put like Matty C 2020 and then put the saying right there or something like that. But all right, Voldy, all the chips are pushed in. Here we go. But you know what you can also do though too. Speaking of which, there's a MinneZona pick'em, NFL pick'em this week, and this is for the people who are tuned in. This is kind of a special treat for you. For the first week, the top person, and may even be some persons too, will win this bad boy. A free MinneZona sticker like this, MinneZona Sports Live. We got plenty of them. So if there's multiple winners, we're going to get it to you, okay? So make sure you make your picks. Yeah, make sure you make your picks. And if you're the top person this week, you're getting one of these, okay? So make sure you sign up. There's still time. You still got time before the first game. So there's that as well. So just remember that. But if you say, you know what, I'm going to forego that. I'm just going to, help out the boys with the internet service and buy these bad boys too, because these are $3. These are $3. Very cheap. Very cheap. And these are only $2. The small bumper stickers, obviously the big bumper stickers, are the $3. So the bigger, it goes up $1. Okay, so that's the main thing. We got stickers. It not only helps us keep you bring MinneZona on, but you can rep us, because why the heck not? I don't see why not. Also we got shirts. Like I said, $20, $5 shipping. Like I said, it helps us keep this on air for you guys. We love our MinneZona shirts. Intern guy's got the whole slew. He's got the whole kit and caboodle. And once those hats are in...
Yeah, because he's one half of it.
For
free. Cheapskate.
Cheapskate, yeah. You hear that? Cheapskate. But anyway, also, we got a shout out to National Fleet Graphic. Also, Crown Rental, Tyler Knutson for the stickers. They look fantastic, as we all like to say. And also check out W2 Performance, the Barbell Nerds, Will Rattel. Stickers available for $2. We got to get Rattel on. Football season's going on. He's doing a lot of videos, so we're keeping in touch with him. Also, check out Jack O'Keefe, Jack's Junkyard, now with Apparel. Make sure you check his stuff out. He's doing a fantastic job. And then check out Breaking Into the League with Sam Gabrielli, Ryan Martin, available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. So,
gotta get them on before hockey season gets started.
Yeah, and Coop, our guy Coop, he's in Sweden now. He's in Sweden now, so we wish him the best of luck as well. And hopefully we can get him on again to have some more fun. And I think that's fantastic. Your mother says, Voldy, I agree with Paul. I was not a Patriots Tom Brady fan. I'm a solid Tampa Bay Tom Brady fan. So there you go. There you go. TFB, there you go. That's all you need. And, she's not the only one, because my brother-in-law, who I consider my brother as well, Nick Vandenplas. He's pretty stoked, and he'll like your prediction. I'll make sure I tell him about that, or if he'll probably watch later on. But anyway, Voldy, great job as always. Good, sir. We made it through. We got it back on, and we appreciate the zoners for coming on and sticking with us. We really do appreciate it. And we're going to have more fun next week because football season, we're going to have all the analysis that we need. Make sure to set your picks, get those picks done, check them off your list. Good luck with your fantasy football teams, your pick'ems, and everything like that. And, as always, folks, keep in the zone.
Hi.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.